The name, look it up. He has a great history on the internet. DDoS King, Prevention King. Have you ever been called that before? First for Sec KC, right there. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Barrett, and this should be a good time.
All right, cool. Hello. So I'm a little tired. I think I've been speaking for almost 5 hours today about the same shit. So instead of talking about DDoS for a few minutes, I'll show you what I was doing last week. There's this thing called Burning Man. It's kind of fun. And I'm kind of a bit into it, but apparently I don't know how to use my computer. There we go. There's audio to this, but I don't know. I don't think the mic. Hello? All right, it's working. Cool. So yeah, we built this art car, and it has a 70,000 watt sound system. It's driven from Mexico City, Mexico, to the Nevada desert. And logistically, it's an incredible challenge just to make this whole stupid thing work. So it's pretty much the most geekiest machine you could build, except for when you've finished building it, you have like half-naked women dancing around it the whole time. So, so anyway, the thing's called Mayan Warrior. And it's called that because a bunch of my friends from Mexico wanted to do something that was kind of like culturally connected to their history, and so we built the art car, and it's a pretty intense thing. So it's computer controlled, the whole damn thing, including the steering system, which is all done through a PlayStation remote, and it has 700 gallons of diesel on it. It has a 68,000 watt generator. We put two 10-watt RGB lasers on it, which are kind of fun to play with. So it's just one big, massive party machine. So anyway, that's what I've been doing for the last couple of weeks. So I'll go ahead and kind of talk about internet stuff now. You want to play? Should I play it one more time? All right. So, and also like all the DJs that play on it, we like hand select from all over the world, and we built a camp that supports this machine. So the camp is built out of like shipping containers that we converted to trailers. One's like a commercial kitchen. It's kind of like a pretty ridiculous thing. There might be a picture of it somewhere. Yeah, so that's like the camp. So, oh, and the flamethrowers are also controlled through the computer. So it's all done through like this MIDI interface. That like it's one big just hack job of a toy. So it's kind of a nice way to like take technology and have fun with it, which is kind of all about the hacking experience. So anyway, we have a Facebook page too, so if you go follow it, we post like all the music and stuff for free. So anyway, I'll kill this for a second. So so what my career, I started doing bad things when I was a kid. I was So a couple of you guys have heard this story like twice already today, which is kind of horrible. Sorry you had to listen to me twice. Now this is the third time. But I started as a kid getting on the internet when it just switched from ARPANET, and I got lucky enough to be connected through a pretty cool ISP, and I did really horrible things. Got into Unix really young, and as you know, like 15, 20 years ago, nothing was very secure. So I played around a lot, and one day I came home from school, and the FBI was kind of interrogating my parents because I took AOL down for like 3 days. So AOL was down, Disney, a whole bunch of things, because Network Solutions had this little bug where you can basically delete domain names at your will. So how old was I? Like 16 or something. Every domain I could think of, I just started deleting. And I didn't really think it would work until I went to school and saw it on CNN, and then I went home, and about a week later, it was a horrible week for me. I was like that prickly, horrible, sick feeling you get when you really fuck something up. That's how I felt. So I decided I didn't like that anymore. So I stopped. And I got hired pretty young. I was just turned 19. I got hired by Trusted Information Systems, which built this thing called Gauntlet, which came from Firewall Toolkit, which is the world's first firewall. So I got to work with this guy, Marcus Raynham, which is like the creator of the Firewall Toolkit. And there was a company in the Midwest that really needed some help. So I went and spent 3 years building out State Farm Insurance, their security practice. So it went from like one firewall that was literally like a desktop machine that they had a proxy server basically running on it for 20,000 users, and they were wondering why it was crashing. And that was their entire security practice. So when we left, I think we had the budget was over $250 million, and it was kind of a fun job as a young guy. So I quit. These are some slides I used for a different talk. But what I'll do is I'll bring it up. So this is kind of the old one. So this picture here in the corner was done in 2004, and the colors kind of represent the different registrars for the IP space. So there's like RIPE, ARIN, LACNIC, and let's see, there's a couple others. So Asia Pacific, North America, Europe, and Latin America. Now there's AfriCNIC and a couple other new ones. So, oh yeah, that's the wrong one. I think we're okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll try to not screw it up. So anyway, I kind of became obsessed with this little project of mine. And every so often I get some free time, and I spend like a week writing code, and then I do nothing with it. So I'll share this with you. That is the internet about a month ago. So it's changed quite a bit since 2004. And what's really crazy about it, so I've been working on an animation of this. So I have captures of the routing tables from 2004 every hour from 2004 to now. So I was thinking about like redoing the picture as like an animation. Each hour is a frame. So like 32 frames a second. I did the math. It'd be like a 4 or 5 minute animation. And I'm working on like kind of the software to, every time it renders, it kind of tries to figure out where the best points are to kind of fix all the points to the image. And sometimes they move a little bit. So I've been working on this anchoring technique to keep it more fixed. So as the internet grows in the animation, it stays in one fixed place. So what's interesting to me is the internet in 2004 is mostly North America, which is like blue, and Europe has just kind of completely grown, so which is kind of that yellowy green color, and Asia too has just taken off. But what's interesting about, like, you can see the Asian network in red, versus the blue in the U.S. and in Europe, you could see that there's only a few networks that control everything in Asia. So visually, this is like a great tool for kids to learn about how big the internet is. It's something that we've all been building and working on for most of our careers. So it's kind of a nice thing to be able to kind of visualize it for me. It's kind of like my yoga or something. So anyway, that's a couple of the things I've done. So I have lots of interesting war stories, but I don't really know where to go because I've been chatting all day. So I'm kind of tired. So it'd be great if you guys can ask some questions. Oh, sorry. Can't hear me now? All right, sorry. So I'm a little burnt out today, so I would love it if you guys ask me some questions. I have a bunch of war stories. So if you just kind of throw some things at me, I'm happy to answer them. Yeah, well, legally. So I've actually done. Oh, the question is, have you ever been approached to perform a denial of service attack? And the answer is yes, but it was by companies that were trying to test stuff out. So I think it's probably, I could probably say who it is, like the Royal Bank of Scotland, RBS. They had a service called WePay.com, and they just got the shit kicked out of it. And it took down, because it shared infrastructure with the bank, and so it just took down the entire RBS infrastructure, and they were just, and this happened like 8 years ago, and so they just got paranoid from denial of service attacks. So they weren't really sure which service or who to pick, who to use. So they kind of did a bake-off test, and they hired me to attack all the different companies they were testing, and that was pretty fun, except for the fact that I had to do it in their time zone. I live in California, and they're in Scotland. So I woke up at 1 in the morning to start work. But yeah, it was pretty fun. And somebody else asked me today if I've ever attacked like anybody that was attacking us. And so that was kind of a similar question. Yes, once. So it was like Christmas in 2004 or something like that. And we had this attack we just couldn't get rid of. We knew the command and control server, like where it was. We talked to all the government agencies. None of them can get it unplugged. And the attack was just this violent, horrible thing. I think it was like some 25 gigabit, which was, whatever, 8 years ago or something. It was quite a bit. But the packet rate was really high. It was just really miserable. And everybody wanted to have a nice Christmas. So what we did is we denial serviced the command and control server. It didn't take a lot of bandwidth. It just took a little bit to the internet relay chat port, like 6667, and it just took the demon down. And yeah, I've always felt kind of bad about it because it kind of goes against everything we've been trying to do. But then again, we needed to like relax and have some family time, so we did that. That was kind of awful. But any other questions? So the most difficult problem that I've been faced with internet security, like with what category, like what kind of stuff? Insecurity. Geez, I think getting people to try new things is really hard. So I mean, it's not necessarily a problem, but when you have a solution and no one wants to listen or try it, it's kind of a nightmare. That kind of like burns me out a little bit. We had an attack once that was just really bad, and we couldn't figure it out. It was taking down absolutely everything. We couldn't explain it. Everyone was worn out and tired, so one day, our office was in Fort Lauderdale, or in Hollywood, Florida, which is near Fort Lauderdale, and I just decided, after being awake all night, to drive home. And on the way home, there was a kayak store, and I just stopped in and bought a kayak. And then I parked my car on the side of the road, got in the ocean, and just went out there and fell asleep. And luckily, I didn't get caught by any crazy current or anything. I woke up and kind of had more of a clear mind, and we went and figured it out. I took down .org once. That was a big problem. We used Ultra DNS, which is kind of a DNS provider that a lot of companies use. And I didn't really want to deal with attacks to DNS because we just weren't set up for it. And we were dealing with so much other crap. And so I'm like, oh, Ultra DNS has a nice SLA. Let's let them deal with the problem the way they're designed to deal with it. And then one day, one of our attacks took down all of Ultra DNS for about 3 hours. So I was pissed. I'm like, hey, where's my SLA payment? And so they didn't really think that was funny. I didn't think it was funny either. I'm like, hey, you have an SLA? You owe us money. And they were like, well, no, it's your attack that you had to deal with. This is your problem, not ours. And so eventually, their CTO is this guy named Rodney Jaffe. He's a pretty cool guy, but he's also kind of a curmudgeon. And so anyway, Rodney meets me at this office, and he sits down, and I was kind of excited to meet him. And he writes a check. He pulls his checkbook out and writes a check for $1 million with my name on it. Slides it across the table. And he's like, this check, you can have this check, you can cash it, if you could tell me how to stop denial of service attacks. And I'm like, oh, great, cool, that's what we do. This is like, thank you. Yeah, I'm like, sweet. Then he took the check back, ripped it up, and said, no one can stop denial of service attacks. So you can only mitigate against them. And your attack was so big, it took my company down, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, it was not my favorite, SLA payment. So then I kind of had a chip on my shoulder for those guys. And one day we had another pretty big attack to one of our customers. And we found out that if we made this really huge, long host name, that it would actually crash the botnet. Because we kept looking up this host, and we did a CNAME, and we had all this crap in there. The response would hit like a buffer overflow in the botnet. So I'm like, oh, cool. We'll just push this into our DNS, and away goes the problem. So we pushed it into Ultra DNS, and the entire constellation of Ultra DNS core dumped. The entire thing went down. Because they also were dealing with the buffer overflow. So I called my sales rep, and I'm like, hey, you guys are down. He's like, no, that's impossible. I'm like, no, I think you're down. And I think we did it. So he's like, okay, haha, I'll go talk to somebody. 10 minutes later, calls me frantically freaked out. So whatever you guys did, can you do the opposite of that? So we did. We pulled it out, and slowly their network started crawling back to life over the next 5 hours. I went home, went to sleep. 2 in the morning, Rodney Jaffe calls me. He's like, hey. Oh, by the way, Ultra DNS hosts all of .org. So when they go down, all of .org goes down with them. Also co.uk and a few other large GTLDs. And so anyway, he gives me a call in the middle of the night. He's like, hey, we've been investigating this. We definitely understand what happened. Can we get a copy of the zone file that you uploaded to us? And I said, sure, only if you give me a T-shirt that says iCrash.org. And he said, sure, no problem. We'll do that for you. So I gave him the zone file. I've never got my T-shirt either. So yeah. Anyway, so that was a rough time dealing with some of these really weird attacks. To get back to your question. Any other questions? Oh, I don't. Yeah, the telephone DOS is kind of interesting, but I mean, who uses the phone anymore? I guess it's really entertaining to see a 1-800 number just get obliterated, but it still doesn't cripple the company the way their web infrastructure does. Yeah, that's pretty horrible. But I mean, it's not really an IP problem, so it's something I haven't focused on. It's something that telcos should deal with, but they probably don't care. Although 911 has more they have more options than just phone now. You can text them, and which is probably a whole nother opportunity to fuck with them. But but yeah, I would definitely. I just want to stay out of the whole SIP mess. So there's a story I've been telling today that kind of blew my mind. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of Hacker Dojo. Yeah, so the Hacker Dojo is pretty cool. It's like an incubator space in Silicon Valley, where if you're starting a business or you're just like kind of a hacker individual that wants some workspace, you can go there and lease a desk and go to work. And there's quite a few people that work in there, and they got a huge attack to their internet connection to the dojo. So, I mean, that doesn't really sound like a big deal, but it actually shut their whole office space down. So the people that worked there had to leave for a week because it wouldn't go away, and the ISP got pissed off, and they pulled the plug on them. So it was kind of an interesting thing, which is you could see like a building with 6,000 employees and some 18-year-old kids like hitting a button, sending everybody home from work. That was really kind of a weird thing that we saw this year, and it's really interesting because on denial of service, like most people are really protecting their web infrastructure, their family, the crown jewels of the business, and they totally forget about the internet connection to the office building, which is also really important. So so that one was kind of an interesting kind of off the beaten path attack, but has nothing to do with phones except for the phones won't work there because their internet's down and the SIP is also not working. So, any other questions? Did we ever have a client that we didn't take that we wish we would have? All of them? No. The clients that we've taken on, so yeah, we've taken on some pretty horrible clients. One client I kind of wish we didn't take on was myredbook.com. It's like a prostitute website where like literally people post like prostitution stuff, and and yeah, they were getting attacked pretty badly. And it was interesting because like here it's hosted in Amsterdam, and so I kind of had like a little moral dilemma with that one. But on the same side of it, we were also doing gambling websites and some others, and so I kind of thought about it in this way. It's like, hey, look, the internet's a place where you should be able to be online. It's your choice to be online. So it's they were producing this website. It's not someone else's decision to remove that option for them. And so as a denial of service provider, we are just creating business continuity for these people, and it's not our decision to decide who should be online and who shouldn't, just like the people attacking them. I mean, I'm sure they had a pretty legitimate reason. One of the other worst, like a bad client we took on was ripoffreports.com, which is actually kind of like on the surface, it sounded like a pretty good website. People are reporting like, they've been ripped off by somebody, and here's why. But it turns out, like later on, we found out that the owner that was kind of extorting people to remove the ads on there. So he's saying, oh, okay, well, there's this horrible thing about you and your business. Pay me 10 grand and maybe we could clean it up. So that one was a hard one to deal with. But yeah, there's a few like really shady ones. And denial of service attacks do go to shady businesses quite often. So, I mean, there's reasons why these people are getting attacked because there's something off by them. But it's really not my decision to say what that is. So, sure. So the question is, am I worried about my personal safety? Not really. I mean, no. I mean, I thought about it for a little bit, and I'm just like, you could live paranoid, and it can kind of direct your life in a weird way, or you could just like not fucking worry about it. And I'm still alive, so I've never had anything weird happen. I think with the mafia side of it, since I completely spilled my guts publicly about what they're doing, I'm really not a threat anymore because there's nothing more that I could do. And it kind of makes you a little bit of an untouchable. And, you know, it was also tit for tat with those guys. They fucked with my life pretty nicely. And so it's just returning the favor. And I think that they kind of respected that a little bit. Yeah, I made them lots of money. So, you know, it was kind of like a sour situation, but it also at the same time wasn't as bad as it could have been. So. Oh. You know what? No. No, that thing is all folded in. It's in Mexico. It's in Mexico City right now. Yeah, I think it crosses in Texas. And no, they don't really have any problem with it at all. It's the license plate's Mexico City, you know, DFA, and it's most of the equipment's all folded up inside, and it looks kind of like an 18-wheeler truck when it's just driving. So it doesn't look weird. And then when you tell the border agents, hey, look, this is going to a festival and it's coming back, they don't really care. So it sits there for about 6 hours. They go through it, and then it moves on. Yeah, it's crazy that they let it in, though. Yes. So early on, so the question was, do we ever catch any clients attacking other clients? So we kind of did, yeah. There was like a internet sports book that competed with another internet sports book, and they were kind of like at odds with each other. And it was clear that one sports book hired somebody to attack the other one. But once they were all kind of under protection, all that went away. But it was pretty obvious that this one firm was trying to kill this other firm. And there's not much you could do. They're in Costa Rica. No one gives a shit. So I don't know what happens, you know, out there, but maybe somebody's knees get broken. But yeah. Any other questions? That would have been awesome. I have actually no idea. My guess, and everybody I've talked to, is those guys were sponsored by Iran. Um, yeah, well, they have a little bit of cash, and they have some smart guys. Um, but Prolexic didn't have any money at that time, so I wouldn't worry about them. That was an interesting one because you have it was a very well done botnet, very clean, very powerful. And at that time, the relationship between the United States and Iran was horrible. And then all of a sudden, as soon as all this diplomacy started happening, the entire attack, the Al-Qassam cyber fighter guys, everything just disappeared. So, I mean, to me, that was a good signal and indication that that it had something to do with that. What is interesting, though, is about a month after most of the attacks went away, one attack came back, and it hit Bank of America and Chase for about 4 hours, and it was huge. It was really, really bad, and it went away, and no one saw it again. So somebody was knocking on the front door, testing out their other botnet to see what it could do, and it just tore everything apart. So it's kind of that's kind of a worrisome situation to know that there's something like that out there. But they're not also like a botnet's really not that hard to build either. So anyway, hope that answers your question. Anyone else? The future? Oh, so besides the stuff we're doing with F5, I'm starting an ISP, like a mom and pop ISP, like the old school style ISP. except for instead of modems, we're using fiber, and instead of 28K dial-up, you're getting a gig up and a gig down for $100 a month. So like that'll be pretty awesome. So in about 90 days, we launch it. We have about 1,000 customers that we're going to turn up. Northern California, for now. Like if the model works out, then we'll grow it even more. But I just got completely sick of Comcast and everybody. It's nuts. I was like, fuck them. Maybe. Well, so the other, so there's like a two-piece thing. So we have a head end that we're bringing into each town, and we're not doing large cities. We're doing kind of smaller cities, and we found easy ways to get like huge amounts of bandwidth into the city. And then Obama's changed some laws where it makes it very affordable to rent telephone poles and conduit that pre-exists. So running fiber is actually a lot less expensive. So by running this big, massive head end to the city and then spoking off of that, it's really not too expensive. And so once we figured it out, we're just like, shit, we should do this. And everybody should do it. It changes everything. So I ran 10 gig to my house, and just as a kind of a test the model kind of thing. And it's just mind-blowing what that kind of bandwidth means. I mean, you could host full, serious websites from your living room, which is pretty neat. So the other piece is we've got some really cool like kind of customer service ideas to make it more of like a hometown feel of a business where you can come in and get a beer or a glass of wine, jack into a 10 gig port, and like just go crazy with the internet. Meanwhile, the support services will be in the back, and if you need help, you can go back there. But yeah. So real cheap hosting. Like it's not like to be serious, you know. It's not supposed to be like Equinix where everybody's in a big colo. It's just, hey, for like $50 a month, you can put a 1U server in here, get a 10 gig link, and just have fun with it. For anything, for security research, for kids that want to learn about the internet, hosting gaming servers. And of course, this is going to attract a lot of denial of service problems, which will be fun to solve, and I think I'm up for it. So anyway, that's what I'm working on. Cool. Well, hey, thanks everybody. I'm sorry the phone or microphone was fucked.
All right, Barrett, real quick before you leave, we have a tradition here at SetKC.